Fujifilm GFX 50R looks like a reasonable option if you want to try digital medium format. They're relatively cheap on the used market, relative to new medium format cameras, of course. The bigger problem is lenses from Fuji are prohibitively expensive for I just want to try that camera system. It feels like a commitment. And what options do I have? The sensor is bigger than full frame. I cannot just adapt lenses for 35mm. Or can I? The reason I wanted to try GFX was to shoot exotic aspect ratios, in particular expand format. It is called after Hasselblad expand camera, which shot panoramas on 35mm film. The images are 65 by 24mm and GFX can shoot that right in camera. Another camera that is capable of shooting that format is Hasselblad, which is definitely way out of my budget. And when I try new aspect ratio, it's helpful if I can preview and compose in camera. Of course, final RAW files contain information from full sensor. They're just cropped to 65 by 24, which can be changed later. I also enjoy square composition, and GFX has that aspect ratio too. The problem with full frame lenses on the bigger sensor is that there will be vignette in the corners, but if I shoot panorama and square, I'm not going to be using corners, right? That's what got me thinking about using old Nikon F lenses, which I have plenty. I shoot Nikon F3 and FM2, and I have a collection of those old Nikon lenses in various focal lengths. So I came to Lake Stevens to experiment a little bit and get real-world results. It was a bright sunny day, and the lenses I used were actually quite fast, like f2.8, so there was no real reason to use a tripod. And in fact, I ended up shooting most of the images handheld. The first two images here are cropped to expand format, and that was my intention when I was shooting. But these two are 4:3, they're not cropped, they're covering the full sensor. And the vignette is actually not that noticeable. This time I mostly used Nikon 135mm f2.8 lens. The result images are nothing special from artistic perspective. It was mostly proof of concept using GFX body with these lenses. Later I decided to try all my Nikon lenses with the GFX to see how they cover the medium format sensor. I tested almost every Nikon lens I have. The focal range was 20, 28, 35, 50, 85, 105, 135, and even 200. I used f8 for the test. First 20mm, quite a wide lens, about 16mm on GFX. It's very wide for medium format. Great for wide panoramas. The corners are soft even on a pano, but I don't care about corner softness on a wide angle pano. It has a heavy vignette on the full sensor, of course. There's a bit of vignetting in a square and panorama, but I don't hate it. Can be used as a stylistic choice. 28mm has a smaller vignette on GFX. It's about 22mm on that sensor. Shouldn't be noticeable in crop aspect ratios. 35mm f1.4 surprisingly has almost no vignette on the full GFX sensor. I could use it for medium format photography. It's equivalent of about 28mm on full frame, and f1.4 is wildly fast for medium format. What is it? It becomes like f1.1 equivalent? Like, that's crazy. 50mm f1.4, kind of a similar story, usable. I'm a bit upset with the distortion, but can correct slightly in post, I guess. 85mm f2 is just wow, very clean. Don't expect corners to be sharp, but for me it's really a necessity. 105mm f2.5, quite a famous lens. Surprisingly has a strong vignette in the corners, we'll consider for panos and squares. 135 f2.8, the one that I used in a photo shoot on Lake Stevens. Vignette is barely noticeable, usable in my opinion. And finally 200mm f4, quite an exotic lens, has a strong vignette, so we'll have to apply cropping. There you go, very usable option, these old Nikon lenses. There are even some that can be used with no crop. Considering all these lenses together could be purchased for the price of one GF lens, I think it's a viable option to try GFX system, unless autofocus is crucial for you, of course. If you have any questions about these combinations, please leave the comment, I'll try to answer as much as I can. Thank you for joining me today in this video. I'm looking forward to see you next time.